My name is Gisselle, and these are my friends Ariana, Cecy, and Nicol. And we are seniors from Cristo Jesuit High School in Baltimore. We are very passionate about advocacy, but it was not enough for us to only be compassionate. We knew we needed to take action, and seeking justice is very important to us. We created a club called the Social Justice Club at our school, based on the experiences we had at the Ignatian Family Teach-In last year. This club really gives the students at Cristo Rey the ability to know they are being heard and know that they have a voice. We meet weekly, have reflections, and have discussions based on the experiences we had with the following issues: police brutality, child abuse, environmental issues, immigration reform, and many more. These issues are very traumatic because we not only see them around the world, but also in Baltimore. We found ways to raise awareness, or at least make Cristo Rey a light in the city working for transformation. We raised money on 2 different occasions. First was for the Baltimore Child Abuse Center, and more recently was for Esperanza Center, an organization which helps immigrants with legal services. They really needed all the help they could get when it came to defending DACA. We sold pins saying, "I defend DACA," in an effort to change the tide at our school.
Usually, when you walk into the cafeteria, you see the layout of a school. You have the jocks, the popular kids, the geeks, the nerds. Well, at least that's how it is in the movies. In our school, you could say we have the same concept. We have cliques dividing our school community. Yet what makes these divisions more evident are the racial barriers within these cliques. As a school community, mainly of color, you would think our student body would be at least a bit more inclusive. Yet we still see the same segregation you would see in other schools. The brown kids sit with the brown kids, and the black kids sit with the black kids. That's how it was, and no one questioned it. This past year, we realized we had to take action in changing this. Our theme for the school year is Changing the Tide por Unidad, or Changing the Tide for Unity. We are changing the normality in our school community. We are using our leadership as either a part of student government, National Honor Society, Social Justice Club, and peer ministry in breaking these barriers. We are rowing into the deep, taking a risk to dive into the deep end, and making opportunities for change within our community by making everyone aware of the social issues that students of color face and how we relate to each other. This movement towards unity takes leadership and education. We use the values we have learned through Social Justice Club and the Ignatian Family Teach-In and create this movement of changing the tide por unidad.
One way we did this was by organizing a skit addressing DACA. DACA, Deferred Action for Childhood Arrivals, was a program launched by President Barack Obama in 2012. It aimed at allowing young people who enter the United States as children without documentation to receive a 2-year period of deferred action. This meant that they could live and work in the United States, free from the anxieties of being deported. 2 months ago, the president and his administration began to phase out DACA. Young people who were brought here as children without documentation may have to go back into the shadows. They made the courageous decision to leave the only home that they know, because it was clear it was no longer a safe place to be raised. They are called dreamers. I am a dreamer, daughter of immigrants, but I am not the only one. This is our home, and we want to stay. There are a number of people in my school community and in this room today who they themselves or their families once left their country for the promise of a better life in the United States. As a community in faith, we should be grateful for their presence in our society because they enhance who we are as a nation, and it's a reminder of our roots. If something impacts one of us, it impacts all of us. That's the idea of solidarity. If one member of our community feels fear or anxiety because of our immigration system, police brutality, domestic violence, drug abuse, or because of gun violence, it impacts all of us. 4 weeks ago, we were inspired to perform a skit at our school with the sole purpose of educating and bringing our community together. We performed a scenario in which an ICE police officer asked a group of DACA students for identification. The ICE police officer then detained these students, and a group of protesters protested against the police officers. At the end of the skit, a slideshow presentation on the realities that DACA students have to face was shown. After the video was over, the students who participated in the skit locked arms, and they faced the crowd as a way to demonstrate unity amongst each other. Each student and some faculty members went down the line and declared, "I defend DACA." As other issues of injustices come up, we hope to educate our student body as we change the tide por unidad.
In this age of technology, being connected has never been easier. We have the power to communicate with communities all around the world. Now, in 2017, no one can feign ignorance. No one can pretend they don't know what the current events are. No one can turn a blind eye to injustice. If you're not witnessing it firsthand, you will eventually see it on your phone, on social media, in the hashtags. Like we saw it for Sandra Bland, Trayvon Martin, Eric Garner, Freddie Gray, Tamir Rice, and many, many more. We see dreamers on TV, marching on streets, protesting for the right for an education, protesting for the right to remain in a country that is their home. We don't want white people to nod along to what we say. We want you to use your privilege to take action. This is about a system of political, economic, and social discrimination that affects people of color because of white supremacy. We talk a lot about the injustices corrupting our world, but now we want to let you know that you can help. Innocent people are being exploited and murdered, and yes, our stories need to be heard, but a pattern is forming. It's becoming a repetitive narrative. These hashtags are becoming the norm. The ordered termination of DACA from the leader of the free world is being cheered on. So listen to your Black and brown friends. Teachers, listen to your Black and brown students, and use your resources to help. Let's plant the seeds of change, and let's start with educational conversations. Conversations that, yes, can be uncomfortable and sad, but that are necessary. And from there, take action. Use whatever financial resources you have to benefit communities, organizations, and business of color. Know who you're voting for. Help us to expand this movement beyond our school and change the tide por unidad for the world. We now invite everyone to stand. Link arms and commit to rowing into the deep this weekend. Thank you.